Welcome back to West Texas View.
This is our last segment of 2 days of programs about a wonderful faith-based camp at Stanton, Texas. And if you haven't seen it, and it's a little off of Interstate 20, but very accessible, it's a place you need to be familiar with, because you just don't know how many things they have to offer. And I want us to spend a lot of time this segment talking about some of the ways that I could access that camp if I wanted to have a family reunion or a youth group or a business group. So what would happen if I called you and I said, I have a group that I'd like to bring out?
Sure. A lot of our people find out about us by word of mouth. You know, we talked earlier about how it may not be the nicest camp necessarily, but we have the best service, and that's something that we can control regardless of what you inherited or whatever. Service is something that can be controlled, and we're going to do our best at that. And so a lot of people find out by word of mouth, and so they'll give our office a call, and the phone number is will pop up on the screen, and you can give right now Kelly. You can give Kelly a call, and she can kind of talk through kind of what are some goals for your retreat. When are you wanting to come? What type of group? And so we can kind of let you play around with the meals sometimes as well. So.
And that's the office phone number, but anytime we're at the office, we usually have it forwarded to either Kelly's phone or my phone, so it's not really hard to get a hold of us. And most of our guests have my cell phone number.
Plus, they've got your email too. But so the first thing I do is call and say, I've got this kind of event, and I think it's going to involve 60 people. And you would say, is it both male and female? And is it adult and children? What are the ages? And so you would get a parameter of what the event was going to be like, and whether you needed a lot of meeting rooms, and you'd be deciding how many days and how many beds you were going to need. And then you could give them a specific price. And how do you price it? Let's talk about cost.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll get the information. We'll figure out if you want the hotel room or dorm room or what kind of recreation you do. And our prices are listed on our webpage. And
Good.
So you can get all the.
So if you're
right
interested, go to the webpage first.
Circle6ranch.org. But we can kind of break it down. I know that the dorms, we just reduced our prices and how our pricing structure works. But for when I first took over in 2011, we reduced our costs, and then we just reduced them again. And some people had some special deals worked out, but now this second rate reduction has affected everybody, and so it's now cheaper as of September 1st. Camp just got a lot cheaper, so it's about $15 per person for a dorm room, and the private rooms are based on how many people you've got in each of the rooms, but it's no more than $80 a night. That's with 4 people in
for food.
Yes, and food is $7 a meal. Meeting rooms, you get a free meeting room based on your group size now, and so if you brought 200 people, you'd get our biggest meeting room. If you brought 10 people, we've got a meeting room for that, and so it just kind of depends on your group's needs. Recreation's a little bit more.
And so that's what I need to be prepared when I tell you this is kind of what our agenda is going to be like. We're going to need 4 breakout rooms Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. We need to have a church service on Sunday morning. So can we get and so then you just lead them through.
You may not know all those answers when you call, but if you want to call and kind of, because we've done this before, so we're kind of used to working with people that are kind of just getting the feelers out there to see, well, what can we do? What are the options?
Good.
And so
you can help them plan
we can help them, and then they can go back with that information. A lot of times they'll call and they'll say, okay, we're having a meeting this week on Wednesday, and I just need to get some information, and I'll give you a call back on Thursday. And so we'll give them information, and they'll go to their group, and they'll discuss what do they really want to do, and they'll come back to us, and then we'll work it out and make it happen.
And so at that point, you're saying, you know, is this something that you think you might like to use the ropes course or the swimming pool or the gymnasium, or all these other facilities, so that you know whether that's something you're going to have ready, or that you can't let another group that's going to be meeting at the same time use those facilities at the same time. Now, what if I were using the swimming pool? Would I be responsible for the lifeguards? You don't have a lifeguard.
Yeah, we provide lifeguards, and we just pay. There's a fee for having our lifeguards out there. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So.
And one of the things that I always want to know when I'm doing something like this is, can families stay together? Or do you have it set up so that the males and females have to be separate, and
yes, if
so a family of children can stay together?
Yes, ma'am. If you're doing a family camp, we've got the 32 private hotel rooms that you can put a family in. You can there's a queen and 2 twin beds in each of those, and then we can bring in either a cot or another mattress if we need to. So
and then in our dorms, so he just talked about family style, where you can stay with your individual family unit, but we also have some dorms where so your youth group could come, or your adult group could come, and it could be a mixture of boys and girls, or men and women, and they could stay in the same building but in completely separate rooms.
Yeah.
With a meeting room in the middle, or at least it's a divider to where there are no guys in the girls' room.
So
your
sponsors would be in the rooms with.
But it would keep your unit, you keep your group together, so you're not always with.
So then
strangers.
those groups could meet in the small group meetings right there in their
Yes,
dormitory.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things that, because I've done a lot of keynotes or workshop leadership at camps like this, and there's usually a facility where the visiting directors or leaders can stay so that they can be studying or working on their computers and things. And so you have that available.
Yes,
too.
ma'am. Yeah, we've got 2 cottages that we're working on remodeling, one coming up here pretty soon. But we've got two of those private hotel rooms. We just redid the showers and the
They're kind
bathrooms.
of called VIPs.
Yes, they're a little bit nicer. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you've got this long-range project that you and the board are working on, and that you've been visiting other camps all over Texas. Talk a little bit about your board. Are they made up from all the people that support your camp?
Yes, ma'am. Our board is made up of there's just some of the Baptist churches in the areas, but then there can be some lay people in there as well. And it's throughout the area. We've got them all throughout the Permian Basin area, I guess.
And so you're looking at just continuing to add services and facilities, and so I guess the thing that I want to say is, if you've got any question about whether this might be something that you would like to use, be sure and call, because they're available to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next Sunday with another program.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.